Let's begin. Today's November 16th, 2024, and we're solving the Daily Turing Machine Puzzle. Today's puzzle has the following 6 criteria cards. Criteria card 7, 9, 12, 16, 19, and 22. And the puzzle uses the orange verification cards. The code above is your way to get more information on today's puzzle by searching the code on turingmachine.info. Let's go solve. So in the grid above, we've got our 6 criteria cards. On the top row, we've got criteria card A, criteria card B, and criteria card C. On the bottom row, we've got criteria card D, criteria card E, and finally criteria card F. Criteria card A takes a look at our last digit, the circle digit, and the Turing machine will let us know whether its value is an even digit or an odd digit. Criteria card B will take a look at our 3-digit solution, and the Turing machine will let us know how many of those digits are 3. Are there no 3s? Is there a single 3? Perhaps 2? Maybe even all 3 are 3. Criteria card C will take a look at our first and last digits, triangle and circle, and compare them. So should the value of triangle be less than circle? Should they be equal? Or should the value of triangle be greater than circle? Criteria card D will take a look again at our 3-digit solution, except this time it'll let us know a little bit about the ratio of even to odds. Should there be more even than odds, or should there be less even than odds? Criteria card E will take a look at our first 2 digits, triangle and square, add them up, and compare the sum to the number 6. So should the sum be less than 6? Should it be equal to 6? Or should the sum be greater than 6? And finally, criteria card F again takes a look at our 3-digit solution from triangle to square to circle, and will let us know a little bit about the ordering of the digits. So should the ordering be in an ascending order, meaning that each digit is increasing, as in the example 135, or is it that the 3-digit solution is in a descending order, or basically all of them are decreasing from 4 to 2 to 1, or could it be that there is no order? So let's take a look at the example of 231. Notice that it goes from 2 to 3, which is increasing, and then 3 to 1, thus decreasing. Alternatively, you could have something that goes decreasing and then increasing, but it's that shift, it's that pivot from increasing to decreasing, say, is that one way of describing a 3-digit code as having no order. Now, we've seen in previous puzzles that if you have consecutive equal digits, that can also exhibit no order. So for instance, let's take a look at this example of 331. Notice that when you go from the first digit to the second digit, there is no change. It neither increases nor decreases from 3 to 3. So that consecutive equal digit setup of a 3-digit solution is again another way to describe a 3-digit code as having no order. And remember, the objective of today's puzzle is to find that unique 3-digit code that abides by all of the 6 criteria cards we just described. And we're going to start off with an initial proposal of 314. So I think the first thing I'd like to test is criteria card A. Okay, so the Turing machine does not approve of my choice in circle. Notice that I did choose an even 4. Since the Turing machine does not agree with that, it's letting us know that actually circle should be odd. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section A. And again, we'll say that circle is an odd digit. And of course, since circle is odd, let's go ahead and cross out the 2 evens. So let's cross out 2 and 4. So I think the next thing I'd like to test is criteria card D. Okay, so again, the Turing machine does not approve of my proposal of 314. We are assessing the ratio of even to odds. So in my proposal, I have 2 odds to a single even, But since the Turing machine does not approve of that, it's actually letting us know that there should be more even than odds. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section D. And we'll say that even should be greater than odd. Well, that is quite beneficial because if you notice, we already established circle to be odd, and you can have only up to one odd when there are more evens. So that means that both triangle and square must be even. So let's go ahead and cross out all of the odds in both triangle and square. So that means we are looking for a solution that is even, odd. Very interesting. Okay. Well, we do have criteria card B asking if there's a 3. Well, at this point, since there's only one odd, it's either there or not. And thus, if it is, great, it's a 3. If not, then it would default to either a 1 or a 5. What else? Well, even though my first two digits do not add up to 6, it would be informative. It's either going to be, some form of 6, right, where it's 2, 4 or 4, 2, or it could be a sum that's less than 6, which would be 2 and 2, or a sum that's greater than 6, 4 and 4. So let's go ahead and test criteria card E nonetheless. Okay, so no, it's again 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 is less than 6. It is not true that the sum should be less than 6. Thus, it has to be one of the other two options. So either the sum of the first two digits must equal 6 or be greater than 6. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section E. And that again is that triangle plus square must be either equal to or greater than 6. Okay, and at this point, I don't think we can actually cross out any of the 2's. We can at least not entertain the possibility of 2, 2, right? But you could still have 2, 4 or 4, 2 or even 4, 4. So you can't really cross out anything, but we did eliminate one of the possibilities. Well, that does it for this round. We did complete our 3 Turing tests. We're now going into the phase where we'll be discussing how to construct a good second round proposal. So notice that we did not test criteria card B, identifying how many 3's. Well, at this point, it's either a 1 or none. We also did not test criteria card C, kind of describing or comparing the first and last digits. At this point, we know they can't be equal, so we know it's got to be either triangle is less than circle or greater than circle, since we are dealing with an even in triangle and an odd in circle. And we didn't completely identify the sum of the first 2 digits. That's criteria card E. And we did not test criteria card F, the ordering. So one thing I do recall from previous puzzles is when you have a card like criteria card C comparing the first and last digits and criteria card F, the ordering, I think there's a way where we can deduce that the order, that the solution should have no order. And I think it goes as following. If you say that the ordering is ascending, then that automatically means that triangle has to be smaller than circle, thus making this criteria card irrelevant. So if it's ascending, yes, triangle should be smaller than circle. Similarly, if you say, oh, well, let me assume that the 3-digit code is descending, well, then again, you would be able to deduce that triangle should be greater than circle, thus making this card irrelevant. So I think then it follows that, oh, okay, the solution must have no order. And that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to deduce that the solution has no order. And we'll see how that helps us to find that good second round proposal. So at this point, I am going to, think that perhaps the sum of the first two digits must be 6, because there's only one case where it's, 4-4. And so, it could be something like 4-4-1 or 4-4-3, with using criteria card B to distinguish between 1 and 3. And of course that it would be that triangle is greater than circle. But I think it may be a little bit better if we go with sum of 6, and we'll see how that goes. So the possibility is that it could be something like 2-4-1 or 2-4-3, or it could be 4-2-3 and 4-2-5. Something where, again, comparing triangle and circle kind of leads us to that decision of whether there is or isn't a 3. And so for that fact, I think I'm going to go with 4-2-5. Again, I don't think it really matters. We're going to determine those characteristics regardless. So 4-2-5. And just to check, is that last digit odd? It is. We do have more even than odds. And we've deduced no order. And we're hoping that the sum of the first two will be 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's see. Can we somehow deduce, though, the sum of the first two being 6? Well, let's go ahead. Let's do this. Let's actually test the remaining two, and we've already outright deduced F. So let's see if we can deduce the sum is 6. Let's go ahead and test criteria card C. Okay, so it is not true. If you notice, I have a triangle value of 4, a circle value of 5. In my proposal, 4 is less than 5, triangle is less than circle. That is not correct. And we also said that the sum they can't be equal since we are comparing even and odds. So it must be true. We're going to deduce that triangle should be greater than circle. So let's go ahead and type that up in our notes in section C. And again, we're going to say we're going to deduce that triangle should be greater than circle. And so let's see what that looks like. Okay, so if triangle is to be greater than circle, that means circle cannot be a 5. Because if circle could be 5, there's nothing larger for triangle to be. So we can cross that out. Anything else can we cross out? Well, we can't cross out 2 because 2 is bigger than 1. So that's still okay. And of course, 4 is bigger than all. So I guess it only really allowed us to cross out the 5, the circle 5. Yeah, everything still looks possible. Okay. And let's see. I guess let's go ahead and test criteria card B. Do we have a 3 or not? Okay, it is true. The Turing machine approves of the absence of 3. So let's go ahead and cross out the 3. It agrees that there should be no 3 in our solution. Okay. And so let's see. We do have a couple of potential solutions. So it might be that it's 4, 4, because let's see, can we distinguish among the possibilities of 6? So let me kind of move over here and let's list out the possibilities. So you could have 2, 4, 1. You could have 4, 2, 1. Oh, you can't have 4, 2, 1 because of the ordering that we deduced. So you can't have 4, 2, 1. So yeah, it looks like 2, 4, 1. You can't have 2, 2. And then it comes down to 4, 4, 1. And yeah, that's what I was afraid of, that, we're at a point where we can't just deduce if the sum is 6 or not. We are going to have to test it because 4, 4, 1 is still quite viable. Okay, well, yeah, let's go ahead and retest criteria card E. Okay, so yes, it is true that the sum should be 6. So let's go ahead and cross out in our notes here the greater than. And yeah, so the sum should be 6. So let's go ahead and cross out this possibility, and we will say, oh, you know what? Here I should have written down that that the solution has no 3-digit. Okay, so yeah, we did test B and it confirmed that there should be no 3. Okay, well, it looks like our solution. Oh, well, let's go ahead and cross out here because the sum is equal to 6. That, and we have no order, that triangle has to be a 2. And square has to be 4. So let's cross out. It's 2. And so, yeah, it looks like the solution should be 2, 4, 1. And let's do a quick review of 2, 4, 1. Is the last digit odd? Yes, it's 1. The solution should have no 3s. It doesn't have any. We've deduced that the first should be greater than the last. Yeah, 2 is greater than 1. There are more evens. There are. And the sum of the first 2 is 6. It sure is. And we did deduce no order. So yeah, it goes from 2 to 4. It increases. And then it pivots from greater to lesser to from 4 to 1. So it does go down. Okay, well, that looks like a winner. So let's go verify that 2, 4, 1 is our solution. 2, 4, 1. Fantastic. Well, how did we do versus the Turing machine? Well, let's go. It is a 6 criteria puzzle, and we did exactly 6 tests. We outright deduced F. But in the first round, we got everything wrong. A, D, E were all wrong. And then in the second round, again, we tested the remaining 2, B, C, and deduced F outright. But we did have to retest the sum of the first 2, which was E. So A, D, E were all wrong. And we retested E. So let's go ahead and type that up. So A, D, E were all wrong. In the second round, we tested the remaining two. B was correct, C was incorrect. But we did get the sum of the first two to be 6, which was correct, and we outright deduced F. So how do we do? Okay, so we beat the Turing machine by one question. Well, always great when we can achieve that. And again, I think part of the win was deducing or recalling that we've seen this interaction between criteria card C and F to outright deduce F. And of course, I've mentioned in previous puzzles or videos that I'm a firm believer of perhaps having to test criteria card E, the sum of the first two, comparing it to 6 in the first round, so that we can retest it potentially in the second round, and that not hampering our, round 2. So how about you? How did you solve? What criteria cards did you choose? And did you discover anything interesting that you'd like to share? Add those to the comments. If you liked the video, please do give it a thumbs up so that more people can find the channel. And of course, don't forget to hit subscribe to not miss out on any future videos. Well, until next time, have a great one.